This is the Franklin Township Public Library on January 23rd, 2019. We'll start with pledging allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Going to call the roll. Agnes?
Yes.
Iris?
Here.
NBC is not here. Mayor Kramer here. Tom Lennon is not here. John Clyde is not here. Edward Ward is not here. And January Adams, our director, is here. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law. Schedule and notification of this meeting have been provided to the Courier News, the Home News Tribune, and the Franklin Township Clerk. Copies have been posted in the library's vestibule and are also available at the reference desk. Our next item on the agenda is the nomination and election of officers. I believe someone would like to make a motion on this subject.
Mr. President, because of the lack of, or the minimal quorum, I move that we extend the offices for another month and elect new officers in February.
I second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'd like to call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This one passed unanimously. I'd like to open the meeting to any public comment. Seeing no public comment, we will go on to discussion and approval of the minutes. We've all been given copies in advance. Is there any discussion of the minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion to accept the minutes from December 12th, 2018?
Second.
Just those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I recuse. I was absent last time, so I...
Okay, there are 3 ayes and 1 abstention. The motion has passed. I'd like to move on to the director's report. January?
We'll do the financial first. I know, I'm trying not to.
Anyone like to comment on the financials? I think the only comment I have on the financials is that for the Franklin Park branch, the utility expenses seem to be higher than expected. And we'll probably get back to that subject later in the meeting. Financial, would you like to go on with the activities?
Sure. It's tax season, and AARP is here once again. This time it's open to everybody, taxpayers of all ages. Assistance is by appointment only, and there's a number, 908-541-5710, and that number should be available around February 1st. And during the last month, we had 1,456 people at 88 programs, And the highlight of the months was the Holiday Magic Show and the Russian Trio that performed classical and popular songs. And the winter reading programs have started, slightly different dates. The family one, which is actually the children's program, began on the 15th, and the adult began yesterday. And that's it.
Does anyone have any questions for the director about the activities report? Seeing none, I think we can move along. The next item on the agenda is a president's report. I have a habit of marking municipal funding for public libraries, and I've updated the one that I did a couple years back, and it shows approximately the same results. I think you all have a copy. What it shows is that in the Somerset County library system, of which we're not a member, the per capita expenditure is about $78. That's $78 per person per year. And in our library, the expenditure is about $51. This is the municipal contribution. It's about. We should be very proud that we do lots of good things with much less money than some other communities spend. It's a credit to our staff, our director and staff.
And the board.
And the board. Thank you. Okay.
So our tax rate is about 60%, the tax rate of those who pay to the county, is what you've calculated.
Well, yeah.
We're paying 34%.
And they're paying 51 cents.
Right. So
Now,
for an average home, that's, well, it's at least $100.
I think the average home is maybe $200 a year.
Right, so that's roughly, very roughly, $100 more they'd be paying.
Yeah.
now some from 2 years ago, what I have found is that the per capita expenditure by the county system, that's 16 member communities, has gone up by 8.3%. And the tax rate for library in the county system has gone up by about 16% over the last 2 years, whereas our tax rate has remained the same, the state minimum, third mill. So it's just some notes. Like to go on. Is there any correspondence or communication
No.
to report? Anybody? No? Okay. Moving on to old business. January, do you have something on money, CDs?
I thought you were going to do that. Nick has
Okay.
recommended,
I think the recommendation was for a 6-month.
you want to do 6 month or do you want to do a year? 6 month, 2.45%. And that would be at Valley Bank.
Yes, Valley Bank is offering a 6-month certificate of deposit at a fairly good rate. And in a period when interest rates are rising, my feeling is that take a good rate for the shorter term, because when it comes due, the next CD will probably be at a greater rate.
Okay.
So that was my,
Do you have the yearly rate?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, it's 2.45 APY.
Right, but that's for a 6
No,
month.
it was
That's a
almost
6
3%.
month. Oh, yeah, for a year.
It was 2.9, so it was almost 3%.
So not a huge.
no. Valley?
The one you sent, I read in the thing, what you,
All I have is this. I mean, I could go look it up. This is from the end of December.
Yeah.
where did I read it, online or in?
2.45 annual percentage yield. I think the annual percentage rate is very slightly less than that, like 2.40. But
For a year, it would be more than that.
no, this is the rate.
Oh, the rate.
This is the rate and the yield, so.
Okay.
So we do have money invested at considerably less than that. And-
Is that money in a CD?
No, some of it's in a CD, some of it's not in a CD. You have money, you could do this. You could do this.
Okay.
How much? You
2
know,
million.
a million? So that's 20,000. Well, 10,000. I'd like to make a motion to invest.
I have a question first, please. Do they know, I'm sorry, can we still discuss it?
It needs a second and then you
Okay.
discuss, to be,
Okay, I
Pedantic.
second.
sorry to be pedantic, but that's,
Any discussion?
So what would, can you repeat the motion?
the motion is to invest in the CD as stated.
Would you like to put an amount on that?
Yeah, there should be an amount.
Like $1 million?
Do we have $1 million
Yeah.
available? $1 million.
Okay.
Million here, a million there.
My question is, do they know that it's a jumbo? A jumbo is
Oh, it's a big, yeah.
that's a big, in other words, it's not $1,000 and it's not $100,000. It's a,
Oh, just,
the rate, you can negotiate those rates.
I don't have an answer to that.
Well, it's
But
something
what I
to-
do know is that the state keeps a list of banks that have enough reserves to be safe for the deposition of public funds, and Valley Bank is one of them.
But, yeah, she's asked, her question is different. She's saying, because we're investing such a large amount, we may be able to
Get a
negotiate.
better
a rate.
negotiate.
So, okay, my motion would be to invest at that, at the rate, but we would authorize January to negotiate a rate or ask about negotiating a rate and completing the transaction, not coming back to us at her discretion.
Okay.
Do we have any money already with Valley or no?
No.
So that's another negotiating tool of, they want our business and that's a lot of money and that's not an everyday occurrence.
Okay.
Do we have enough liquid money after that, in case we have a?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, this is for 6 months. What happens to after 6 months?
You see what the rates are and you do it again.
Okay.
Actually, when you take it out, you can instruct them to just continue it at the current rate,
No,
but that's not a
you
good
don't know.
idea
You have to
because,
find out what the current rate is.
yeah, that's not a good idea
That's not
because
good.
after 6 months, you want to get your money and look around at what other banks
Well,
are
you have to
giving.
do it prior to the date that it's due,
Right.
because you have to see if they're gonna do it automatically, you have to catch that.
And I would guess rates are gonna go up,
Well, that's why I like the 6-month deal.
right?
Okay. Is there any other discussion on this motion? January, would you like to read the motion as you have it, since it's been modified and for clarity before we vote?
Okay. Motion was to authorize January Adams to open a CD at Valley Bank for $1 million at the going rate or a negotiated higher rate, and to complete the transaction without coming back to the board
At your discretion.
at my discretion.
But I think you have to negotiate because of the size of the,
Well, that's
I don't know that that has to be in
That's
the motion.
not part of the motion, yeah, okay.
do you
Okay,
meet-
so,
do you meet with the bank manager?
I will go to the bank and,
But ask for the manager.
okay.
Would you like to go with her? I'm serious.
Maybe I
Been there, done that.
I have no problem with that. And
We'll
would you
probably
like
get
to handle my
10%.
accounts?
Yeah, yes, yes.
We'll probably get better. Okay, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's unanimous 4-0.
I'm serious. I have no problem with you.
I'd have to.
I don't either.
We'll talk later.
Okay.
Where is that bank?
We've
Hillsborough.
got one in Boundbrook, Hillsborough, or North Plainfield. So I guess it would be Hillsborough.
Hillsborough's close, well,
Which is the
Pembroke?
bigger,
Pembroke.
which is the bigger branch?
I'd
North
have-
Plainfield,
Really?
the Route 22 North Plainfield branch is bigger and it's been there longer. North Plainfield has 2 branches actually, but Hillsborough it's near Staples. It's near Lowe's and Staples. And Boundbrook is probably a little bit a larger branch.
I think Boundbrook we'll discuss this.
Okay, we'll talk.
Moving on to new business, we have a situation at the branch. January, would you like to?
We have a person, a contractor, who performs quarterly maintenance on the HVAC units at the branch. And a couple of months ago, he came to the branch director and said that both of the units were in really bad shape, and in his opinion, they needed to be replaced. I asked him for an estimate, and the estimate to replace both of the units was $22,100. And then I asked him for an estimate just to replace one, and that was $12,380. There's several, and I am in the process of getting 2 more estimates on this.
Quotes.
The choices are, we could, if we replace both of them together, we would have to take it out to bid, and that's going to be a big production. If we only replace one, then we would only have to have 3 quotations. Or we could not do anything and just wait.
Is the unit that's being replaced the same size, of equal size? Are we
Yes.
going up?
And the other thing you should know is, even though there's 2 units, the staff only uses 1 unit, because the 1 unit is sufficient for both the air conditioning and heating of the library.
I'm confused. This is the branch.
Yes,
We rent.
yes,
The lease
yes.
spells it out.
Yes, it's in the lease,
Wow.
yes.
We need to
There's
get out of
also
it.
yield up, which means that any improvements that we do, we must leave in place when we leave the building.
So needless to say, it's not very,
So then let's just replace, if they only use 1 unit, let's just replace 1 unit.
or do you want to, we could wait.
And replace
They're still
zero.
working, they're still working. We don't know how long we're going to be there. Oh, I did.
We're going to be there.
2 years at
3,
least.
2 to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, minimum of a year, and they're that bad that they're going to break down. We don't want to have to shut down for it.
Well, the thing is that 1 unit, either one of the 2 is adequate to do the whole building, to do the
Yeah.
space.
So if one dies,
As
we have time.
the
Unless
other
they-
day, both were out of order.
Well, no, that
No,
one
one
was
was
turned
turned
off.
off.
Somebody turned that other one off
Yeah.
on the roof.
Yeah.
Who is that somebody?
I don't know.
Can we get a second opinion?
Oh yes, I'm getting a second and
Second and
opinion.
third.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because spending that amount of money is too much. But I think it's worth getting a second or third opinion, and let's see. maybe because he's the one doing that, he wants something new in the building, and we are renting that building.
Well, the landlord also sent their people out to look at it, and apparently they offered us $10,000 or half of the amount if we would agree to extend the lease 3 to 5 years beyond its expiration. We can't do that.
No.
So
when do we
the
expire
point
now?
I'm making is that apparently the landlord also agrees it needs to be replaced.
Yeah, when do we expire?
2020. End of October 31st, 2020.
Okay, so,
It's 2 years from now.
yeah. So, and if we had to extend at that time, you could say, well, hey, you've got a rotten HVAC unit, we're not gonna pay that amount. I think we have a backup. I think we wait.
I
Iris?
think if you have 2 units and they're both of the same age and both of working and you only need one, I think it might behoove us ask the repair person, keep one quiet for, I don't know for how long, that's what they have to say, you know, do you have to oil it, do you have to whatever, keep the other one, and then go back and forth, so then as soon as one breaks down, we gotta replace one.
Yeah, I think that's what Nick said earlier.
Yeah.
Wasn't that?
Now, the other thing to consider is that we've already noticed that the utility bills are higher than we're expecting. It could be that the efficiency has gone down. Now, I can't imagine that that's true for the heaters, for the heating cycle, but when we get to air conditioning, if the condenser coils are
Dirty.
corroded and so forth, it may be costing us more to air condition than it would if we put in a new unit. Now, what we don't know is how much will we save with the new higher efficient unit. It will be higher efficiency on the air conditioning and about the same
It's not gonna
as...
be payback in a year or two. It's gonna be payback in years.
Does
Right.
somebody service the unit as far as checking to see?
Yes.
if it's?
Yes.
Yeah.
But how much is a new unit, do you know?
That was the $10,000.
12.
Oh, 12.
12,380
For one.
for one. And the reason it's not half of what the two are is because no matter what, you have to rent the crane.
Is there any way, you and I discussed this before, that you can check to see what the heating and air conditioning costs for the other units in that strip mall? And has the rate for public service gone up?
Well, we can check, that can all be checked, because we have the
Because
we
they-
have the
you need to
financial
know why.
records from the past, so we could get degree day readings and compare the performance. That can be done. We
Right,
can-
but I mean, and check with like stores. to
No, I
see
don't
if
think
there's
that's not
Okay.
very telling, because you don't know what temperatures they keep their store at.
True.
Some are bigger and smaller, some have different hours. But what we can do, if someone's willing to do this, is get degree day readings for the past year or so. This is available from the utility companies. And then look at our financial records and see what our utility bills were. Take into account any raises in the price. That's an arithmetic exercise that can be done, but it hasn't been done yet.
When you say you've noticed that the utilities are higher, did you compare these to last year? Is that how you came up with that?
No, I did not.
So, how do you know that they're higher than in the past?
I noted that the budget
Is 61%?
reflected past history.
Okay.
And that this is exceeding the budget expectations.
Well, why don't I start with this? Let me compare this with last year, because it may be just that we go through it this fast and it hits 61% every year this way. And we're not actually using more heater, air conditioning.
Okay.
We should be able to find the degree days online and compare it over the 2 years.
You can do that
See
too.
if that's what went on. I mean, well, you needed the two numbers.
Yeah.
And unless, did the electrical rates change over those 2 years?
There's a lot of
That I
information to be
couldn't show,
gathered,
that I- yeah.
but it's all available. It's all available, and I haven't done that analysis. I think the question today is, do we want to delay, or do we want to go ahead with the plan to get more quotes and replace one unit?
I would say to get more quotes so we know, and then just delay.
Okay. I think that's a safe, the safety is that we have 2 units, and either one is adequate.
And the addition is, if, as soon as one goes, you replace one right away, so that we don't have to close down for any time.
Right.
Right.
But I still suggest that you talk to whomever about the best way to preserve them,
Okay,
shut
sure, I
one
could do
down
that.
and how long to
Mhm.
keep it,
Mhm.
Okay, I don't think we need a motion on this, do we? I
Not
think,
spending any
I
money.
think, January, you have a clear direction of
Mhm.
what to do here?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm having Township Engineering find out the number of degree days.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Does anyone have any reason that we should go into executive session? I certainly don't.
I know, I wanted to discuss the library situation with,
Lewis Street.
well, I can report on that, and then I can also report on the Southern Branch proposal that you had a meeting with the school board.
Okay, that's,
I don't think we have to go to
no,
executive session.
that would be new, but that's still in new business.
Right,
Okay.
so, well, the old business is, we don't have a number. We don't have a number for, we don't even quite know the square footage for the northern branch. We need to get that, and then they have to come up with the total cost to find out the cost per square footage. And then we can discuss with them what we, they'll come out with a number. We need to discuss that number with them. In other words,
What you're talking about is the reading room in the new Lewis Street
the
Center.
library branch in the Lewis
The-
Street.
Well, it's a reading room so far.
Well, how are you differentiating that from a branch?
I'm just looking at the drawings that were given to me.
And it says it's a reading room.
Yes.
Well, we've always discussed it as a branch.
Well, a branch of this library, we haven't had enough information yet to declare our intentions in terms of staffing it and hours, so it's really premature to consider it a branch.
Well,
It's a facility, a reading room that is available to us, and we have expressed interest in using it, but we have.
Actually, I disagree. I think this body has embraced it as a branch, and we've discussed personnel costs for the branch. I know you've been leaning away from it, but I think you're the only one leaning away from it.
Question, has anything been done about parking?
Yes, so we have introduced last night an ordinance to acquire property immediately across the street.
For how many parking spaces?
40 to 50. So,
How long will it take for you to know whether that can come through enough?
in 2 weeks, we will vote to, it will be, well, the next council meeting, I think, or it was either the next council meeting or the second council meeting of February, but by the end of February. And I do not anticipate any problem with that passing. I think, nothing's over till it's over, but I have every expectation that's going to happen. I have not heard any council member object to it.
Mayor, will this be taken by eminent domain?
No.
No, in other words, it's been negotiated with the,
Right, for $230,000 for the property, and the total cost, including the property and the making it a parking lot, is $605,000.
okay.
And I assume they'll have things, bike places,
I don't know
whatever.
that detail.
Okay, do you know, Mayor, whether this project will be bonded? The 15 mil, the entire,
I can't imagine it would. I mean, we might. Sometimes we often initially pay in cash and then bond. But
Mhm.
this is such a large amount, we may go immediately to bond. Because when you hear that the township is bonding for $500,000 or 200,000, $1 million, we don't go out and bond each time. We
Yeah.
wait till we accumulate,
Yeah.
because it costs money to bond. But this
this is big.
is big. This
Yeah.
is bonding territory.
Nick, excuse me, the place we have is on the first floor, is that right?
No.
And the drop-in center is proposed on the same floor, I believe, or both are on the first floor?
I think it's on the second floor.
No, I think it was.
No, I think
read
it's on the first
It's
floor.
on the first floor. What, that's what I read.
Where did I get that from?
That was last month.
This reading room, I guess these drawings I have are still not final, because what we had heard earlier is that this program room would be separate from from the library area, and now it's all together.
Yeah, there have been some design changes which I have to go over with the manager. And what initially was 1,200 feet might be 1,600 feet.
Yeah, well, that's what this shows, yeah.
1,600 feet for the library, or is that including the drop-in center, which is a
That's just the library,
Reading,
which is a really large reading room.
okay. Now, will furnishings be included in the cost figure?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think we need to furnish it.
Okay. And do you know, Mayor, whether there will be a public hearing on this project?
There have been.
Pardon?
There have been. There was a public hearing, there will be public hearings at the final, to spend the money, to accept it. Yeah, there's a public hearing.
Okay. And will the planning board be asked to make recommendations?
I don't know that detail.
Okay.
I think the planning board gets involved if there are variances or anything. I think, am I right? I don't know.
Well, if someone else were building this,
It would be
it would have to go before the planning board. We're government, we don't have to follow our rules. However, the people involved with the planning
Right.
are the staff.
They're
and
putting it in there.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, do your own. thing.
Well, my understanding was that when a public money is being spent that by a public entity, the planning board is asked for recommendations, but they don't have to be followed.
And that may be true.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact
Yeah, okay.
protocol. I mean, I can ask Mr. Vornlocker all of these questions.
Okay.
He will certainly know. Whatever that protocol is, I certainly want us to follow it. And I have no objection, I wouldn't have any objection to hearing from the planning board about that. But the planning board's gonna be more concerned with things like drainage and things like that. They're not gonna get in whether such and such a place should be upstairs or downstairs.
Well, they might have something to say about access of fire equipment around the building,
Sure.
and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
They might have some recommendations on that.
I don't know the protocol. I'm not on the the design committee.
Okay. Thank you.
So then the southern branch, you had the terrific idea of possibly putting it on some unused school board property and having a library located immediately next to the school has many advantages, plus the fact that there's parking is already there, et cetera. And so I've been in touch with Superintendent Ravalli, and he's available with his staff to meet on 6:30, Monday, the February 4th, or Wednesday, February 6th, at the offices right here. So I think we should meet.
Yes. I have something new on this subject, if I may. And this is a map of the area showing our current southern location, and the location that we had talked about with what you had talked about with the superintendent near the Franklin Park School. There's another piece of land near the Claremont School, which would be a much more desirable piece of land for a library branch, because it would be accessible right from Claremont Road rather than having to use the school's access road. So when we meet with the Board of Education, I think we should present that as well. What we have,
Who owns the land?
the Board of Education owns 60 acres, and it's this 60 acres here. The Claremont School is over in this area, but there's a buffer of woods here
That they own?
that they own, yes. And it's right about there where that little mark is, or it's here. And what this is a drawing of what a 1 acre spot with a 4,000 or 5,000 square foot building would take up
Okay.
there. So
Great idea.
these things,
Nick, when you meet, can you ask, there must be engineering
oh yes,
plans to find out where the wetlands are, to see, because you don't want to get involved with that.
yeah, definitely, yeah. Good work. I think that,
Oh, no, good idea on your part.
well, we'll see what they,
So are you going to ask about both locations or just the one?
I think we should just ask
Sure.
about both and see whether,
And also, are there, 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 are Will there be sidewalks? Will we need sidewalks?
Well, there's a parking lot adjacent to the spot. Let's talk about the Claremont School
Right.
spot. There's parking lot adjacent to it.
I mean, Agnes said that there's not that many people who come by foot. Most of
Yeah.
they're driving, so.
Well, the plan would be for us to build a building and build our own parking lot as well, although it would be adjacent to their parking lot, but we would have an independent parking lot. I think it would be very useful to have our own entrance from the street and our own parking area.
I think those are things to be determined.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine. What does it cost?
Right,
Can we do it by sharing? What does that cost?
right.
I don't think,
First steps first.
yeah,
Yeah, well, this would be a
I don't think we should be
preliminary.
discussing what color we're gonna paint the walls quite yet.
That's a big decision.
Yeah,
Beyond my ability. My wife gets to decide that.
okay. Who wants to contact Mr. Ravalli?
Well, what day do we wish to choose, and
I can go either day.
who will be on the committee?
I'd like to be on,
And
you'd
I-
like to be on, January would like to be on.
Well, January, we can have, what is a quorum?
3.
Three.
Quorum's
January's
4.
not a part of the
Quorum's
quorum.
4.
Right, right, so we can have
Three
Three
plus.
Plus me.
plus you, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
What are I'll know on Friday whether I'll be
I'll be the plus one.
available either one of those dates.
The 4th and the 6th,
6:30.
at 6:30.
February 4th or 6th. At 6:30.
It's Monday and Wednesday.
Okay, I will know Friday morning.
All right, so are
And
you
I'll let-
available both days?
I don't have my schedule with me, but I also have to wait for an appointment on Friday morning to know something.
I'm available both days. You're available one of the days.
No, both days.
You're available
Yeah.
both days.
So we'll exchange numbers. You can let me know, and then as soon as you let me know
Okay.
whether you're available or not. And,
Unless, Agnes, do you want to be,
Then
do you
if
want
you're
to,
not available, then he'll contact me.
what do you want to do first? I mean, that's your area, maybe you should do it if that's what you want. You're
Monday, what time?
6:30.
Okay.
Let her.
which day, the 4th or the 6th?
Fourth.
4th?
Yeah.
All right, then I shall let Dr. Ravalli know
So
right now that it will be the 4th.
Where will you?
Do you know the Board of Education building right on Amwell Road, just near here?
Oh, okay.
You could walk there in
Okay.
3 minutes from here.
Near the Sampson G School?
No,
No.
it's
No,
by
no,
the
the
light,
one-
after the light.
Okay.
Almost across from the church with the
Yeah,
red
yeah,
door.
yeah. I know
You
where
go
it
in-
is.
You enter
Yeah,
through the back.
By the church.
I'm sorry, what did we just say, the 4th?
Monday the 4th. You want to keep the 6th as a snow day?
Bite your tongue.
Is that what we're expecting?
No.
I'm just being pessimistic.
Do I need to get the plows out? We didn't, boy, we dodged that bullet.
Yeah.
You were lucky.
Okay,
Let me just get that in here.
I think we're, is there anything further on that can we leave that behind as completed, that issue? Seeing, I'd like to open the part 2 of the public portion of the meeting. Is there any public comment?
No, Ann Taylor, Franklin Township. I would just like to see the financials, the green papers or whatever. If somebody wants to part of copies. copies.
Okay,
That's all.
You want to go?
I can give them back.
oh, okay. Confirmation, next meeting date will be February 27th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned at whatever time.
February 27th.
6:50?
6:50. We are adjourned.
Did you get this?
I have that.
You have it.
Wait. let me just-
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I want to show you.
Attorney needs microphones.
I'll take this anyway. Is it-
All right,
Can I
I
have
just
it?
want to show the mayor.